From Louisiana to Texas to Oklahoma, a business industrialist who's reinvented himself many times. Please help me welcome Henry Primeaux. Thank you, sir.
Jeff, good to see you again.
Thank you very much for your time. You know, you've been in business from, the deep South, as they would say, to the Midwest. What have you seen to be some of the common characteristics to professional or business success?
Well, one of the things, no matter where you are in the country, you have to understand where you are and what you're going to do. You know, if you're going to form a company, for example, you have to do your homework. What's the niche? Is it going to be a niche? Are you going to apply to the masses? Or are you just going to have a very specific business? Now, the mores in different parts of the country are different. So when you come into a city, and I was on the road a lot before I settled here in Tulsa, so I traveled internationally. And when you deal with different cultures, you have to take the time to learn what they mean. For example, the Japanese, if you're going to talk to them, they do this. And many people stumble and think they're saying yes. All they're saying is, I understand. So if you're out there closing and a good salesman always puts the close, they may read that
the wrong way.
The wrong way. And so when, for example, when I came to Tulsa, I had been a consultant for 20 years in the automobile industry and a trainer. Well, I knew a lot about Tulsa because I had come here, I had seminars, I had clients here, and one thing I knew about Tulsa, that it was a very giving community. Now, when you're on the road, like I've been most of my life until we got here, I didn't have a chance to put roots down. Now in New Orleans, we were born and raised there, went to high school there, went to college there, met my wife there in high school, and we raised our family there. So we had many roots.
Right.
But I found out early on that for an entrepreneur like myself, without a family behind me or a family name behind me, it's very difficult to get the credit that it takes to go into business. So one of the things I tell young people when they ask me, well, what's the secret to your success? Make sure that you have good credit and make sure you have credibility. And if you're going to be hanging out at 18 years old and do a DUI or get a drug conviction, you're finished the rest of your life, because most major companies that you do business with won't even look at an application if someone has a felony on it.
So you're just creating your own hurdles.
Creating your own hurdle. Then the financing. The financing is all important, and often we go to the top before we take the first step. So just because you can arrange financing, that doesn't mean you should have to use all of your money. You have to lay something back for that unexpected problem.
Exactly.
So knowing the market, when I came to Tulsa, no one knew me. The dealers did, because we
Right.
had a lot of conversation. So I got involved in the community because where I lived before, we were involved in certain social circles, but I traveled 6 days a week, sometimes 2 and 3 weeks at a time internationally, or I'd leave on Monday, come back on, actually I'd come back Friday afternoon so I could see my son play football. So but I was gone. I really couldn't make a commitment. So when I came to Tulsa, one of the first things I did was start to give back to the community. And it's little things. We didn't have a lot of money at first, but we gave our time, we gave our business, we held meetings at the dealership even.
Right.
And so one thing led to another, and you start to have a network of people. So the next thing you do is, once you pick your path,
Right.
and it has to be, and you say this all the time in your magazine, your path has to be a passion. If I didn't like what I do, especially today in this market, I couldn't do it.
No doubt.
So if you don't have fun going to the office, it's a very difficult time. And if you think that this is all about the money,
No.
it's not. And in my career, I've set many financial goals and achieved them very quickly, and found out that I was still hollow at the end of that goal. So there was something missing.
Right.
And the missing is taking care of other people. So as you do that, and I think mentoring, I noticed the cities in the mentoring program now, we've done this for years, and I've had young people come to my office at 7 o'clock in the morning when I'd first get there, and I'd give them the first half hour, and they would just pick my brain, and
Exactly.
I'm not afraid to share that information.
Success traits.
When I have a marketing survey that I want to do for me or my companies, I go to the universities and have them do it. Because when a letter comes from TU, ORU, OSU, the University of Oklahoma, somebody's going to open that letter and answer those questions.
Right.
Where if Henry sends it, Primeaux Kia, Tulsa Talents, well, they're going to look at it, well, you're trying to sell me something, and they toss it. So these kids come back. Now the trade-out is I'll show them my financial statements. I'll talk to them about what capitalization means, what expenses are,
Exactly.
and how it's not just gross sales, it all stems from gross profit and then net income.
Wow.
A lot of people fall into the trap where they're selling, and you can actually, especially in the automobile business, sell yourself out of business if you don't have the proper financial backing.
So true. An MBA in this last interview. This has been incredible. You've been watching Performance Live with Jeff Magee and our special guest, Henry Primeaux. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Absolutely
Jeff.
great.
Good luck in the show, too.
Thank you, sir. I'm Jeff Magee. Thanks for watching Performance Live, a product of Explore Tulsa Channel.com and The Performance Magazine.